Adobe Fuse should have downloaded onto your computer, and you should see the icon on your desktop. If you've already opened it and closed it down, you double click on it to try and open it, and you might notice that nothing happens. This is a little bit of a bug with Adobe Fuse, so to get around this, what you need to do is double click on it and press enter on your keyboard a few times as well. That's return if you're on the Mac. Okay, so I'm going to double click and press enter, and it will open. Now just double check that it doesn't open 2 or 3 instances. Sometimes that happens, so you only want 1 instance running at any one time. Okay, so I'm just going to move this. As I can see, I've got another one, so I'll just close that one down. So I'll just put this into position. I'll just scale it up so you can see it. Great. Okay, so this is the software. This is Adobe Fuse, and this is what it looks like. As I said before, this is very much like creating a character in a video game. It's all about customizing your characters, and much like in a video game, you get a bunch of templates, and that's what these are. We have a whole bunch of characters that are basically templates. Some of them are scans. As you can see, these are presumably scans of real people, so they look quite realistic. The characters that are called fit, so female fit A and male fit A, are more kind of generic characters. Okay, these are basically 3D models that look more like, you know, something that comes out of 3D Studio Max or Maya, etc. There's also a couple of cartoony type characters as well. Now obviously you can customize these as much as you like, so even though you've only got those templates, you can have an almost infinite amount of characters from these templates. As you can see up here, we've got different sections, so once we start to create the characters, we can then go on to customize them, and we can add some clothing to those characters, and we can change all of the textures. Now Adobe Fuse uses substances which come from Substance Painter. These are procedural material textures. Okay, very much like when you're customizing the character, you'll be dragging a bunch of sliders around. You can do the same thing with the materials, so you can create an almost infinite amount of materials as well, which is great. So we've got all these characters. I just want to show you what these characters will look like when they're assembled. So each character has a slightly different body shape, they have slightly different facial features, some of them are different ethnicities, for example. Obviously we've got different genders, so they're great starting points to get the character type that you want. Okay, so as I scroll through these, you can see the different types of characters that we have. There's even the zombie character there. And these are obviously the cartoony type characters. Okay, and this is the final female character. So you kind of want to choose the base model that works for you best. All right, now I'm going to actually be creating a character and showing you how to work the software by creating the character. All right, so what I want to do is choose one of the male characters to begin with. I want to create a hero type character. Alright, now I probably don't want to go with the male fit A because he's a little bit too generic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of the scan characters. I might actually go with this character, this male scan 1. So just double click in order to add the character. It may take a while to put him in there, and it has to assign all the textures. But what you can see is it's quite photorealistic. Now to move around, you just left click with your mouse and drag in order to rotate. You can right click and drag in order to zoom in, or you can use the roller on the middle of your mouse. You can click and hold the roller in the middle of your mouse to move up and down, or you can click this button and you can click and drag with your left mouse button then. Click back on this one in order to continue to rotate. And if, for example, let's say you can hardly see your character, is out of view, you can click this one and it recenters the character. Okay, this is just basically like so you can select parts of the character. All right, which is pretty cool. And obviously this part here, is a GeoTool settings. It's actually a modifier that allows you to push and pull the geometry, so I can kind of like, you know, really just move stuff around if I wanted to, and I can kind of sculpt it like that if I needed to. But I'm actually just gonna get out of that, make sure that I undo the soft mod there and undo that as well. There we go, I think it's back to normal now. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do really. Alright, so now that I've got the head, now I want to go with male scan 1 body. So you wanted to try and match them basically. You can mix and match and choose different body parts as well, which is fine. It does work, it's just sometimes you may get some anomalies. Male fit A, no, I want to go with male scan 1. That's for the leg. And male scan 1 for the arm. And there we go, now we've got a completed character. So now over to the clothing section, and what you can see is you've got a whole bunch of different sections and you've got a whole bunch of stuff to select from. Alright, so there is quite a bit actually. Importing new clothes and things like that, it is possible, but you either have to buy the clothes from somewhere or you have to make them yourself. Okay, I don't think Adobe have their own dedicated store where you can just kind of like buy extras in for this software. Bear in mind, any of these clothes you can customize them endlessly, so you can change the material type, you can change all sorts of stuff about them. But what you can't do, you can't mix 2 or more of these together. Okay, you're basically resigned to just using one of them. Now I want a kind of a hero character, a bit like Indiana Jones, let's say. So I'm going to go with this leather jacket. Double click in order to assign. Wait for it to add all of the materials. And then go to the bottoms, and I think I'll go with belted straight pant. Okay, and then obviously you need some shoes. Now I'm going to go for the Oxfords, so just double click. Okay, and it puts those in. Alright, so there we go, we can see the character now. And you can actually see what he looks like in different lighting scenarios. So to do that, we're going to click Edit. Oh, sorry, View rather. And you see where it says Next Lighting Mode? The shortcut is actually that key, the square bracket. Okay, so now we can see this sort of like it's very much like a shiny light kind of view, and then the other one is lit very harshly from one side, so you can see sort of like this interesting shadow. And then back to the first one that we started with. Okay, so right there, I could obviously continue and add some hair, maybe we could add some hats. We can add some glasses, beards, all sorts of stuff, even masks, etc. But I'm actually just going to leave it there for now. And you can actually even just export the character like that. So it is extremely easy to use this software. But obviously this is a tutorial about Fuse integrating with Unity. So what I'm going to do in the next video is go into a lot of detail about how we can customize this character and how we can change all of these aspects in order to make a really, really unique character. Now what I want to do here, because I'm quite happy with this character at the moment, is actually just save it before the next session. So to do that, we're just going to go up, File, Save As. Okay, and I've already got a couple of tests, so I'm actually just going to call this one Hero 2. Okay, and that's it, the character is saved. So even if you close down the software, you can re-import this exact same character in next time.